What's good, guys? Welcome to Six Best Bets, including Lock of the Week, including a nice little double bonus that I have for both of you guys. For a nice little double bonus I have for all you guys watching, this is going to be a nice Six Best Bets with Lock of the Week, including two bonuses that I have for you guys at the end. Looking at this card, it's a little bit tricky to find Six Best Bets, but we got it. Got everything down. Got everything written down. I want to mention I'm on a 7-fight Lock of the Week streak. Brian Battle, Roman Dolidze, Ramazan Temirov, Charles Johnson, Lerone Murphy, Mike Malott, and then last week was Mansour Abdul Malik. So as the streak continues, as the streak builds more of a streak, as it gets to the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, it builds more pressure. So you have to find a good Lock of the Week every single week. We have fights all the way until Christmas. So I expect to continue this Lock of the Week streak into next week. We have very good cards next week, following week. We have good cards all the way to the end of December. So, without further ado, guys, welcome to the Six Best Bets, including my Lock of the Week, including two bonuses. Without further ado, I want to mention that this is a really good card. A lot of people were mentioning that this card is a little lackluster, and in the prelims, it definitely is. But it's because it's very top-heavy. But that doesn't mean there's no exciting fights on the prelims. So, without further ado, let me show you guys my six best bets, my Lock of the Week, and my two bonuses. Let's get it. Hopefully I didn't spoil anything. Let's get it. First most confident pick, Veronica Hardy. I want to mention that Veronica Hardy is set to face off against Eduarda Moura. She is the first fight of the night in Madison Square Garden, which we will be going back to the old UFC gloves. We're not going to have the new UFC gloves, so there might be more eye pokes. Maybe grappling might be a little bit more easier, and it seems like you're not forced to bend, so you can open your hands a little bit more in the old UFC gloves. They mentioned that this was a veteran-heavy card, so why not give the veterans something that they're used to? Veronica Hardy could definitely have an advantage with these gloves. She's a striker. But I think Eduarda Moura, with her clasp, she might be able to clasp her hands a little bit easier and try to take down Veronica Hardy. Currently, right now, Veronica Hardy is a minus 156. Eduarda Moura is a plus 122. When we look at what Veronica Hardy has to show, we look at how much she's evolved since the beginning of her career. She's gone with Dan Hardy, the mastermind, the genius, the one who I like personally. Like, he's probably one of my favorite analysts. Then versus now, the evolution of Veronica Hardy, her debut portrait from 2016 alongside her latest from 2024. She's been 3-0 since her return from a 3-year hiatus. Still 29 and evolving fast. Catch her in action Saturday at UFC 309 against Eduarda Moura. So the yellow always looks good. Right here, she's trying to show Nina how much improvement she's had on the ground. So we get to see
You're gonna brace that way.
how good she's gotten.
I'm gonna brace this way.
Dude, I've never seen her throw something up like this before. So she's definitely getting a lot better, and this was definitely a treat to watch.
That way, though. I'm gonna brace this way.
I have faith in you.
All right, so we're here.
Push. Now swing this leg over.
Here.
Yeah, and bring the other one over.
Oh my God, Veronica, you're
Yeah,
strong.
there you go, you got
Oh
it,
my
you
God,
got it.
Veronica, you're strong.
Now lock your legs.
There you go. Back down.
Ow, Veronica, my titty. Oh. What do I feel like to you?
I feel like my legs wouldn't get caught up.
So they do have a
They
purpose.
do help, yeah.
They help.
There's even a submission where you can use your obstacles.
Like suffocation.
I lock up. And from here, you can have a good time.
This is Veronica.
This is cool, though. They get tied up like a pretzel.
Veronica, no.
That's crazy.
Humans shouldn't.
So if she's on the ground, she could throw up some good submissions.
Jesus.
There's a lot going on right now. I don't remember anything. Jiu-jitsu.
Damn. That was
Not
lit,
going
though.
anywhere.
That was actually a cool video. Probably one of the greatest videos that I have of Veronica Hardy. And I wanted to show another clip, but I actually just ended up ruining my first most confident pick of the week. I mean, my second most confident pick of the week. So, with that being said, this is my second most confident pick of the week. Here we go. Obon Elliott, 11-2-0, is a prospect, the gangster, the Welsh gangster, one of the best nicknames in the entire card. He's set to face off against Basil Hafez. Basil Hafez is notable for having a split decision on short notice against Jack Della Maddalena, and he's fairly notable for his heavy hands and his grappling. Plus 200 for Basil Hafez, and Oban Elliott's a minus 265. I think this fight should go the distance. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 205. I think it definitely does. The question is Oban Elliott ready for the onslaught and pressure and takedowns that's going to come from Basil Hafez? Basil Hafez is going to be looking just to clasp his hands, his cardio is a little bit questionable, but we want to mention that was on short notice, and his cardio just needs to be a little bit better, and he can have a lot of success against Oban Elliott. I want to mention Oban Elliott on the MMA, not the MMA Hour, Ariel Helwani's show. He mentioned how his dad is no longer with him, and Ariel asked a great question asking, what do you think your dad would do or say on what you're doing right now?
I know for a fact, if you had a crystal ball, or if he saw what I was doing now, that's enough reason to stick around. You know how I lost him.
Sure.
You know how
Yes.
the circumstances of how we lost him. Yeah, right. So I just feel like, he'd be... I don't want him to be kicking himself up there thinking, I should be there with him. He'd be proud, you know?
Oh,
So
my
proud.
God. I think you'd be blown away.
And, my mother's proud. Fuck you, Ariel.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean to do
No, it's all
that.
right.
It's a
I
good
think
question.
you'd
though.
don't
be
wanna-
over the moon. I
Yeah,
think you'd be...
it's my mother's proud. Everybody's proud, you know. And I think back to that time in my life, and I don't want to cry.
Okay.
I'm just trying. No, go on. I'll tell you. I want to say it, but I just can't help it. Think back to that time in my life, and you know when I get out of the taxi outside the hotel and I slap the ground, 'cause it's like a way of saying like fuck you back then, you know, to what happened, and being unsettled for so many years, you know, and it's a way of like saying like, nah, I was never gonna stop, you know. It's a way of like, when I've
He's also friends
it's
with
a way of
Aljamain Sterling now,
celebrating
too.
rather than looking back on the darkness.
And I just wanted to show that this was a very important side of him that he's never shown before, or I haven't seen before. And then right here we see his takedown defense against Preston Parsons. We see that, not only do we see that Preston Parsons is very good at just shooting relentless takedowns, but we also see how relentless defense this guy, Oban Elliott, has. He has some of the best takedown defense I've ever seen, and it was put to the test of a guy against Preston Parsons. Preston Parsons is known to get relentless takedowns over and over and over again, nonstop on his opponents. And just looking at the takedown defense, the relentless pressure, and it's very sloppy from Parsons, and this can get very annoying where there's a guy that's just shooting on you relentlessly, and he's not even trying to strike with you at all. So it's like, what can I do to avoid this guy? What can I do to get this guy off of me? What can I do? And he throws up a little submission attempt to get this guy off of him. Tries to go in for a little bit of a push him against the cage. Striking. Gets caught in a deep double leg, and then he tries to avoid it. Looks very good right here. Right here, he has a pretty good double leg, and then he loses all the position because of his sprawl. His sprawl is one of the best sprawls I've ever seen. Tries to take the back. Can't take the back because of the arm. Preston Parsons trying to take the back. A little bit sloppier. Can't take the whole back. Oban Elliott's trying to slip his head out. Go over, ends up on top. Preston Parsons is just that sloppy guy who's just going to shoot relentlessly. And it doesn't matter if the takedown's ugly. He just wants to get you to the ground. So we know that a guy like Oban Elliott should be able to have good takedown defense against a guy like Basil Hafez. It was a little bit of a longer interview, a little bit of a longer start, but I think Oban Elliott should be able to beat a guy like Basil Hafez. Give me Oban Elliott to win this fight at a minus 265. And my third most confident pick, I gave you guys Veronica Hardy, Oban Elliott, my third most confident pick of the week. Here we go. Jonathan Denise, I know probably I wasn't zoomed in at the beginning of this video, so you guys probably got to see a little bit more than I wanted you guys to see. But close your eyes. Jonathan Denise is set to face off against Marcin Tybura. Jonathan Denise, currently the odds are locked right now, but I believe Jonathan Denise is the underdog. He was a minus 128 earlier. Then he went to a plus 100. Then it was a minus 102 for Jonathan Denise and a minus 128 for Marcin Tybura. Currently, he's the underdog. Will this fight go the distance? I don't think so. If it does, it's because Marcin Tybura is able to put his relentless pressure and get a grappling clinic going. Marcin Tybura recently lost to Sergey Spivak in the first round to submission. We know Jonathan Denise is a whole completely different game from that. And we know Marcin Tybura is a little bit older. His haircut is awesome. But we have to mention that Jonathan Denise is a beast. And this guy said 1 unit on Jonathan Denise plus 102. I see how Tybura wins this if he can get close and secure a takedown, of course. But I think there's a certain level of striker that Tybura doesn't get past. And I think Denise fits that mold with his powerful straight shots, agility, and speed. So you put 1 unit to win, I believe, to win 2 units. So it's a very good prop, good money line, just good money line. Money line can never go wrong with a good money line. And then these are the odds. These are the stats. So it says Marcin Tybura, Jonathan Denise, slight favorite, 25-9, 8-0, big underdog, 33 years old, 39 years old. Although he wasn't always an underdog. Finished in 2 minutes last fight, 3-2 in his last 5, 8-fight winning streak, former Glory kickboxer. But we know that his takedown defense hasn't been as tested as much as a guy like Tybura. 20 UFC fights, 12-8 in the UFC, 4 KOs, 1 sub, 7 decisions, 2 UFC fights, 1 Dana White Contender Series fight. Bad get-up game. Once he's taken down, he stays there. Very good to mention. Lost rounds. So it says 0 losses, but he lost rounds to Carl Williams and Austin Lane. 6 finished losses, 1 sub, 9-3 to the decision, 3 consecutive round 1 endings. So he tends to get finished early. Decent striker, decent takedown threat, well-rounded at heavyweight. So it's a battle of who can test their will and uphold and force their will upon their opponent. I think Jonathan Denise can get this striking going, get the striking clinic going, get his work game going, and beat a guy like Tybura. It's just the takedown threat from Tybura. How good is Tybura? Is he able to win? Is he able to get the takedown? Is he able to keep him there? We know once Jonathan Denise is on his back, he sucks at getting up. So I think Jonathan Denise should be able to win this fight. A little bit of a risky pick. One of my lowest confident picks of the entire 6 best bets. But I think he should be able to win this fight against Marcin Tybura. Now we're going to go into my 4th most confident pick of the week. Veronica Hardy, Oban Elliott, Jonathan Denise, my 4th most confident pick of the week. Marcus McGee. Marcus McGee is set to face off against Jonathan Martinez. One guy mentioned that Jonathan Martinez tends to flow a little bit more better and he's more fluid than a guy like Marcus McGee. And I thought that was a very good point because a guy like Marcus McGee is a guy who tends to get his combinations going, but who is able to flow better? You know, who's able to hit their flow state a little bit better? Maybe Jonathan Martinez, just a little bit better. Right here, I'm just trying to look for the odds. Plus 114 for Jonathan Martinez and minus 146 for Marcus McGee. Currently, Marcus McGee is 9-1. And here it is. Marcus McGee minus 138. Maniac, handshake, maniac. He is the maniac for a reason. McGee brings relentless forward pressure and a serious KO power. Also, he will have a strength advantage and can mix in the clinch takedowns as needed throughout the fight. I think he will be too much for Martinez and outwork him to a victory. We have to mention the leg kicks from Jonathan Martinez. And we also have to mention how this guy was able to beat Gaston Bolanos, the only underdog that was able to win last week at UFC Vegas 100 against Cortavius Ramirez. So this guy is a pretty good win to have on your record, especially in this type of fashion that he's able to do. High kick into a right hook, and he says, walk-off KO. And you know what Bolanos says? He's so tough. He's like, I'm right back up. Don't stop the fight. I'm right back up. I'm getting back up. Let's go. Let's go. That's how tough Bolanos is, and I think that's why Bolanos was able to win last weekend. You know, when you see that Bolanos was able to come back after getting finished like this, it shows that a guy like Marcus McGee is just that good. You know, he throws a spinning kick, and then boom, left hand down the center, finishes him. A lot of people said, some guy said, oh, this is a early stoppage in a small cage. He said, BS stoppage in a tiny cage, and that was definitely not the accurate format of that fight. It was a perfect stoppage in my opinion, and Bolanos was just not able to get his game going. Right here against Baez, McGee looks in, has very good distance management, controls distance, travels across the cage very well, and then he tries to close the distance. Boom, right hand power. This guy's hands are made out of stone, the way he makes this guy do the chicken dance right after he's done with him. And then right here, Newson versus McGee. Probably one of my favorite finishes from McGee, the way he's just able to finish him. And then the ground and pound, relentless, get on his back. Try to look for a nice submission. Sink into it, let it squeeze. squeeze. And then this guy, Newson, was just too tough for his own good and had to tap. A guy like Newson is very good, and I can't wait for his next fight, but Marcus McGee is just better. McGee versus Ramos before he got into the UFC. Nice left hook that he has. Good frame. Frames his position. Has very good body kicks as well that can help against Jonathan Martinez. Very good power. I don't know if he'll be able to drop a guy like Jonathan Martinez because Jonathan Martinez is very good. And let's say we haven't seen him go full 15 minutes, so if this touches the third round at the end, Jonathan Martinez could put the gas, and it could be 1-1 going into the third, and it all depends on whose gas tank is more better. So Marcus McGee is going to be my fourth most confident pick of the week. Veronica Hardy, Oban Elliott, Jonathan Martinez, Marcus McGee, my lock of the week. My fifth most confident pick of the week. Who do you guys think my lock of the week is? Let's get it. Here we go. Yeah! Karine Silva, 18-4-0. She's set to face off against Viviane Araújo. I know what you guys were thinking. You guys were thinking that I had a different lock of the week, but this is how it goes. Karine Silva to minus 295, set to face off against Viviane Araújo at a plus 220. She has finished all of her opponents inside the UFC except for Ariane Lipski, and we want to mention that that was her first decision in the UFC. She's finished all of her opponents by either submission or ground and pound. So it's a little bit of a pick your poison, where she tends to be so much better than you, where she's either gonna submit you or get relentless ground and pound on you. Her submission game is by far the best. Her heel hooks are by far my favorite. Very good arm bar, very good Darce choke, and an extraordinary guillotine. Total rounds, honestly, will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 196, but you don't want to play that game against a finisher like Karine Silva. I recommend just take money line. I know she's a minus 300, but we're going to look into why she's a minus 300. The fierce number 11 ranked UFC flyweight killer, Karine Silva, in her brand new portrait. Climbing the 125 rank with an unstoppable force, she looks to extend her unbeaten UFC streak to 5-0 this Saturday at UFC 309 at Madison Square Garden against number 9 ranked Viviane Araújo. Viviane Araújo is tough as nails. She's never been finished inside the UFC, and we have to mention that a girl like Karine Silva is going to be put up for a good test because she's climbing up the rankings. Number 11 versus number 9. Viviane Araújo is a veteran savvy, by far one of her toughest tests inside the UFC. A nice little two-leg that you can probably choose is a little Karine Silva and Veronica Hardy. If you do Veronica Hardy and Karine Silva, it comes out to plus 119, and it's not bad. And it shows that both of these girls, I think both of these fights are going to be very competitive, but I think Veronica Hardy and Karine Silva are able to make it out and get the W. When we look at Karine Silva outside of the UFC, she has a very good heel hook. By far, one of her best submissions is by heel hook. Just look at her opponent's faces, the extraordinary pain that her opponent's faces in from that heel hook. Very good takedown, explosive takedown, very good. The only thing is, if this fight gets a little ugly and sloppy, this fight could lead to a little bit of a split decision because Viviane Araújo is really tough and she might not get finished. Her heel hook is by far one of the best submissions that I've ever seen. She's very good at it. A lot of people who throw heel hooks just throw it just to get out of their takedown or the position that they're in. But she throws this heel hook with intent to finish it by submission. Right here, it wasn't even wrapped in for that long. And just look at the way her opponent is able to tap Souza. She gets it in, and right here you can see the discomfort in the knee. And then she's forced to tap. Very good heel hook. Right here we see it in slow-mo. She's trying to escape. Once that leg is locked, she uses all of her right hand's power, leans back, and forces the joints to get discombobulated, and she has to be forced to tap. Karine Silva has a very good submission offense, and she's very good at locking in different type of submissions. Right here, she has a good guillotine. Her opponent slams her to the ground, but her opponent actually ends up getting deeper into the guillotine because of how relentless that slam was, and she has no choice but to tap. And that was Dana White Contender Series. Right here, she's in the UFC, has a nice Darce choke, is able to wrap her leg around and finish that in. Right here against Ketlin Souza, the beautiful heel hook that she's hit multiple times in different organizations outside of the UFC. Beautiful heel hook right there, just pop. You can see it pop, and you can see the stress on her face. Sometimes those injuries you'll never be the same after a heel hook. Right here, very good guillotine. She's trying to fight it out, and it looks like her head's almost about to pop out, but she has her chin locked in, and she knows how to secure a nice little guillotine. So I think she should win against Viviane Araújo. So give me Veronica Hardy And a nice little two-leg is Veronica Hardy and Karine Silva. If not, just give me Karine Silva money line. And if not, give me Karine Silva to win this fight by submission or on points. If I want to tell you guys what it is, I'll look at it right now. Karine Silva by submission or on points. All right, so Karine Silva by submission or on points, minus 185. Karine Silva by KO on points, minus 140. I recommend just take money line. Don't get risky. Don't get fancy with it. And my 6th most confident pick of the week. Let's go. Veronica Hardy, Oban Elliott, Jonathan Denise, Marcus McGee. I forgot. Karine Silva, lock of the week. And then my 6th most confident pick of the week, Charles do Bronx Oliveira. The reason why he wasn't my lock of the week is because I think it would have been a little too obvious if I would have had him as my lock of the week. Right here, we see him with his group. He's set to face off against Michael Chandler in the rematch. Right here, we see his whole group is praying for him. Charles Oliveira Charles Oliveira leads the Lord. Charles Oliveira led the Lord's Prayer with his friends and family before he left New York. To New York. So very good thing. You know, he does these ceremonial, like very important things. This is how he's going to look with his shorts. I think his shorts look pretty good. A lot of people were giving him some slack because they didn't look the best. But, you know, a guy like Charles Oliveira, the submission king, has some of the highest submissions. Has the highest submissions in the UFC. And he also is looking to break the bonus record. If he gets a bonus this Saturday, he will have 20 bonuses. This guy has 19 bonuses inside the UFC. That means that not only is he exciting, but he's a finish or be finished fighter. And that's why this guy has the whole team behind him. And he's also a great sport. He has great sportsmanship, never shows too much trash talk. And Oliveira believes that he beat Arman Tsarukyan in rounds 1 and 3. A little bit of a competitive fight. Right here, I just want to show how he looked against Beneil Dariush in round 1. This Oliveira is where he had his first back tattoo, the full line back, and he was coming back off that loss to the champion from losing his belt. Right here, he says a line is a wound. Okay, a wounded line is just as scary as a regular line as well, if not scarier. So you know that he has a lot of emphasis when he says that. Tries to close the distance, goes on Beneil Dariush, has a beautiful, beautiful deceiving power, the way he's just able to put into that hook. You can tell Beneil Dariush doesn't want anything to do with that. Shoots for a nice little leg. Charles Oliveira wraps around him like a snake, the way he's just able to take this guy's back. And he's, especially with the cage being there as well. And if you saw in my breakdown, you know that Oliveira is that man. He's him. He's him. This guy is able to just relentlessly, accurately, just hit this guy constantly until he's out. And blonde hair Oliveira, it's time for this guy to beat Michael Chandler. Currently, right now, these odds are all over the place. In my opinion, I think these odds are very good. Minus 280 for Charles Oliveira, plus 210 for Michael Chandler. These odds are a little bit high, but if you got Charles Oliveira minus 265, then you got him. Right here, he was at Central Park. Shows that he likes Central Park, and he has a nice little coat. He has a nice little yellow coat right here, and I wanted to show him training right here as well.
I don't feel these niggas at all. Got 100 round in my pocket, I'm ready to go kill these niggas.
I just wanted to show that, you know, Oliveira listens to Pop Smoke. He's playing Pop Smoke because he's in New York. So let's go. W Charles Oliveira. W Oliveira to beat Michael Chandler. And my best props for this fight are double chance. Charles Oliveira by KO or submission, minus 220. And then if you want to go total rounds, over 1.5, minus 110. Under 1.5, minus 116. We know that the under 1.5 hit last time Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler fought, so that's why it's a little bit favored right now. But I'm going to go the over 1.5 just because I think Michael Chandler is going to be a little bit more calculated, a little bit more settled in, and not trying to gas and explode his entire gas tank. I think Oliveira's ready. Give me the over 1.5 at a minus 110, and then give me Charles Oliveira to win by KO or submission at a minus 220, and then give me will this fight go the distance? No, at a minus 12,000. Out of minus 1,250. That's definitely, obviously, everybody thinks that this fight's not going to go the distance. But I'm also going to sprinkle Charles Oliveira by submission at a plus 150. And I'm going to sprinkle Charles Oliveira by KO at a plus 230. It's going to be a very good fight. I think Oliveira is going to be able to seal the 6 best bets and put the cherry on top. It's going to be a very good fight. Very good fight. And it's time for the bonus. I want to give you guys a quick recap. Veronica Hardy to win her fight, money line. Specifically, if you want to go Veronica Hardy by points, That's a little bit more juicy if you want to play it, but I like money line, minus 156. Oban Elliott to win his fight, specifically by decision, 29-28 as well. If you want to play it by decision, you want to play the over 2.5, you can. I think it hits, but just take money line as well because you never know if Oban Elliott puts the gas in a tired Basel Hafez after shooting relentlessly gets finished. So give me money line for that. Jonathan Martinez, money line. He's an underdog already to win against Marcin Tybura. Maybe he might not be an underdog right now as you're watching this, but he was an underdog as of yesterday and today. Marcus McGee to win his fight against Jonathan Martinez by decision. Maybe he gets a finish. If he finishes a guy like Jonathan Martinez, he's really going to put his division on notice. Money line is the best option for him as well. Karine Silva, lock of the week to win her fight. I think she's actually going to be able to finish a girl like Vivian Araujo. So by submission or on points or by KO or submission, in my opinion. But I also like money line as well. But I like submission or on points at a minus 180, my best. And then 6, Charles Oliveira at a minus 280 money line, or Charles Oliveira by submission or KO at a minus 220, my 6. And then the bonus right here, Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. You guys know what is the bonus? What's going to be the bonus? Jon Jones is minus 700, Stipe Miocic is plus 440. No value in any of that. So the bonus is going to be an over 1.5 at a minus 144. And currently the over and under is at 2.5. So for the guys that missed the over 1.5, in my prediction video, if you missed it, you missed it. I already got it, but I told you guys, FanDuel always does this. The over 1.5 was too easy to hit. Over 1.5 was going to be too good, in my opinion. I think the over 1.5, if you could still get it, jump on it right now. But right now it's set to the under 2.5 or the over 2.5. I think this fight goes under 2.5 rounds at a minus 144. If you don't want to play that game, go double chance. Jon Jones by KO or submission at a minus 250. And if you want to get really fancy, Jon Jones by KO or on points at a minus 160. I don't think this fight's going the distance. If it does go the distance, I will be very surprised. And Stipe Miocic is that guy. He's him if this goes the distance. I'll be off my chair if this fight goes the distance. Jon Jones versus KO. Jon Jones by KO or submission at a minus 250. The best prop. So the two bonuses are going to be the over 1.5. It was at a minus 148 right now. I believe, let me just double check on my other bookie. The over 1.5 is going to be one of the prop, and the other bonus is going to be Jon Jones by KO or submission at a minus 250. When we look at this, this card could be a card with a lot of finishes, but I think that the main event is going to go over 7.5 minutes. Right here, when we look at it, over 1.5 is a minus 175. And then I'll give you guys another bonus. So I'll give you guys 3 bonuses just because the over 1.5 is not on FanDuel no more. Over 1.5 minus 175. Under 2.5 is going to be under 2.5 right here. I had it right here. Under 2.5 is a minus 1. Okay, under 2.5 minus 144. Over 1.5 minus 175. And then Jon Jones by KO or submission at a minus 250. So I'll say it again, Jon Jones by KO or submission at a minus 250, under 2.5 at a minus 144, and the over 1.5 at a minus 175 right now is what my bookie's telling me. Let me know what you guys think. Right here, it says I'm rooting for Jon Jones this Saturday, and it just showed like something funny right there. And then right here it says, Jon Jones, I don't like the new gloves, change them. And what does Dana White do? I thought that was funny, bro. I thought that was funny. Twitter's funny. And we know a guy like Stipe Miocic can get dropped, come back after getting dropped, and win the same fight in the same round by knockout viciously. This guy, Stipe Miocic, is a fireman, one of the first responders. Respect to him all the way, and I hope he puts up a good fight, and I hope he lasts over 1.5. So I actually gave you guys 3 bonuses. Over 1.5, under 2.5, and Jon Jones by KO or submission. Let me know which one you guys like the best, and let me know if you guys like my lock of the week. Right here, we see Jon Jones trying to practice his spinning kick, and I think he might be able to hit that on Stipe Miocic. We know that when he's practicing this, it's because he's trying to land it, and he's very good at landing it before. He's landed it multiple times in his UFC career, and he looks like he's in good shape. So give me Jon Jones to win this fight by KO or submission, over 1.5, under 2.5 as well. Let me know what you guys think. It should be a great fight, and may the best man win. Let's get it. 6 best bets. Let's get it. Does the lock of the week streak continue? The pressure continues. Let's go. Let's get it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it.